Hello and welcome to another Planet Zoo guide. Today we're taking a look at our visitors. Depending on how you play and what you do in the game, you might care about them, you might care not at all, you might just be like, oh, someone who hates the zoo, I don't care. But in case you do care, we're going to go about everything that matters. Customers, what they care about, how you can make them happier. This needs up. So, starting with the obvious ones, hunger and thirst. That's 3 food stalls. You can find here and guess food stalls and stalls. You place them down like this, and with 1 free employee. You have to pay them, but you know, add them to the work zone. Here you go. You'll go and get drink food. Now, I've noticed that there's more people going towards the drink stall than the food stall. That's partially the fact that we're in a really hot region. So if you decide to play in a tropical area or in the savannah or in the desert, you're going to have a lot more drink sales and people are going to want a lot more drinks. So keep that in mind when placing your food and drink stalls. Next, energy. As it tells you, you need to be able to rest. So you have like a really large zoo with like 20-30 exhibits and habitats. Your guests are going tired. What you need, like I say, benches. Benches work, picnic benches work, it doesn't really matter. Is it red? Oh, this looks weird. Sorry. Off topic, but yeah. You also want to make sure that there's like enough of them people can sit down and have them spaced out regularly your whole zoo. Pretty much all there is for this. If you don't have that, if guests' energy is low, they're going to turn around and leave the zoo, so certain habitats might not have any visitors. Toilet. It needs toilets. Obviously. Usually I just add toilets along with all drink and food stalls that I play, and then that's taken care of. So now you might be like, okay, so what? Like, I've taken care of that and the customers of the zoo. Well, there's a few more things your visitors care about. For example, we've got this heat map here, which is the negative impact on guest heat map. So here, staff buildings have a negative impact. If we had any litter on the ground, so any thrown away food or whatever, it would also be shown on the ground and it would have red circles around it as well. So that also negatively impacts guests, aka in sort of logical, but make sure you have enough people to clean the bins. There's no use in having like 50,000 bins if you only have 1 staff. Security and crime, obviously. People will complain if a lot of things are stolen, or if you have a lot of vandalized objects. Why do people vandalize objects? Well, if they're unhappy and there's no security guard around, you get vandalized objects. Very interesting, right? Option 2 stores are obviously nice here. ATMs. Another thing that you need regularly. Those are going to complain if there's no ATM. Obviously, you won't make money that way. Now, the information center. This actually goes in the guest station rating. Bottom, 0. Come here and buy cameras. Umbrellas, all that. They're just happy and option packs, umbrellas, audio guide, and that audio guide is what goes into the. So everything else of there. Also, the umbrellas, once again, are going to be more popular if you're in an area with a lot of rainfall, such as the rainforest. So if you are in a biome like me right now, you need more info stalls. These are a way for you to make money. Guys, that's just there for you to make money. Just entrance, that's obviously matter. Look at the big this education rating. So, as the game tells you, education is increased by providing information, boards, speakers, and audio guides, and the better educated guest will spend more cash. Okay, so what does that specifically mean? Go into viewing devices and speakers. Have these, which are conservation education boards. No, stop that. And if you click on them, you can any random. You can click on a guest, go out, and you can be the language. Needs education. Wanted to see? Ah, there we go. The education coverage. This one covers education. One doesn't because we haven't activated. And so if we get education speaker, 1, not 10. We activate that, it's going to have a radius around it. So in this radius, they're going to hear stuff about this animal. You have to be careful to not hit another habitat this radius, then visitors are going to be confused. And then last but not least, we have the education board. It comes in the education board set and the stand. I haven't found the difference yet. They both cost the same. Also have a radius. Have to move. They don't have a radius, they're just there. Hey. Maybe this one is bugging. Let's try the other one. It's the same item, but yeah, that one shows up. Okay, I have no idea why that is the case, but anyways, later. Now you might be thinking, okay, so I'm just going to place these boards all along the habitat and guests are going to be happy. No. As you can see, board, a lot of information. That's because our research on the Aldabra giant tortoise is at max because we're playing in sandbox. If you just got the animal and you have no research done on it, barely going to be anything on this board. It means that visitors will learn less from it, which means that your education rating isn't going to go up as much. Essentially, you need those education boards, but you also need to do research. So in case you're getting an exhibit, there are these little exhibit education boards. Boxes. No. They come with pre-built exhibits anyways. So if you're wondering what the ambience are for, those to calm down animals. Like, we have some tortoises who are really scared. Go in, we can be like rocks of the jungle, and then they're going to be less stressed. So that's education covered most. And just make sure you get all of the research done. Do advanced research, that also helps. It gives you an education rating bonus if you do advanced research. So if you have some researchers left over, do that. Other thing that if we guests will other than the price and anything habitat. Okay, the guests don't want to play along. Oh, there we go. I'm enjoying the view of the Aldabra giant tortoise. So that's another factor that determines how happy your guests are or aren't. Whether they can view the animals. Guests will also complain if animals look really unhappy, and then that comes with protesters, as I'm sure you've seen at some point. But let's say you do well, all your animals are happy, and your main concern is, where are you jumping over there? Main concern is that the guests rating for the habitats is like they're here, like I described the view as okay. So the looking in great shape means that it's healthy and the view is not so good. Right? So what impacts the view? First and foremost, the barrier. Barriers such as this wooden barrier. Barrier section. Barriers such as wood or concrete barrier, as you can see, are opaque. Meaning people can't see through them. You have semi-opaque or semi-transparent ones, which is steel mesh, chain link, electric. Okay. Then you have glass and one-way glass, which are transparent. So one-way glass is really useful for shy animals because that, you know, you can just opaque on one side, and your guests can still, but the animals won't be. I'd be thinking, okay, so just make like full glass habitats, but obviously the animals are going to be stressed out if you do that. Animals need space to hide, and that's where the issue of how to build the ideal habitat comes in, because you want to give your animals space to hide, but your visitors also want to see the animal. So basically, all of this in wood, visitors wouldn't see the animal. If we did all of this in glass, the animal would be stressed. A lot. Also, a few other things that go into it, from my own experience. Putting up like buildings, or just adding your own personal decor does help. And plant life does help as well, because it makes the habitat look prettier. For example, if we go with like this, right? That would also block the people's view. Then they enjoy it less, because as you can see, they even don't care. You have to be careful with where you place your plants. It goes for stones, of course. If the thing is full of rocks, then visitors won't like it. Essentially, just put yourself in front of the fence and see whether you can see the animal and how much you can see, and then you can get an idea of how much they're gonna like the habitat. Habitats that are long usually work better than habitats that are like wide. I work better than ones that are like really, really long. So ones where you have a small viewing area and then have a lot of buildings and everything in the back. And habitats with very small viewing space, let's say you can only view the animal, and all of this is wood, are also not optimal for visitors. That is just something that you sort of have to work out. Or I'm too hot, or I'm too cold thing. No, that one. I've had visitors come into zoos in the Arctic with hot pants and like tiny t-shirts, so their fault, not yours. Of course, if you play in a zoo with temperate climate, then it just means that your heating or cooling is wrong for the visitors. He's not impressed by the view. It's probably a combination of the fact that we instead of glass and the fact that the habitat doesn't look particularly interesting. So when building a habitat, you'll have to find some sort of middle ground. And yeah. One last thing I wanted to say was these guys impact visitors. There's also one way to reduce impact. Of building here, for example, we'll see that there's a senior rating of 88%. You can see that here, which isn't the case for these guys. It's also actually reduced because these are pretty, but you know, if you were to place it randomly, the range wouldn't be reduced. So that's something you want to take into consideration. Maybe decorate your staff buildings so that you can place them closer to the visitors if you have to place them close to the visitors. What else do visitors care about? Price, obviously, and which animals you have. If all you have is tiny, low-cost animals, get less visitors. Visitors will spend less money. I haven't put up a donation box here. My own experience, our donation boxes rely on in here. They do also rely on which animals you've got in there. The more popular the animal, the more money people are going to donate. Our visitors also enjoy seeing baby animals, so I mean that's sort of obvious, right? We all love baby animals. And yeah. One more thing to take into consideration, if you, for example, have a breeding program for giant pandas or for tigers, it's common to have multiple habitats with giant pandas for separating them. In case you don't know about that, if you have a giant pandas, you separate the young as soon as possible, that the mothers can get pregnant again a lot faster. I talk about that in a different video if you want to know more about the whole how to breed and what to breed and when to breed and where to breed. Either way, if you do that and you have like 5 or 6 habitats in the same space, visitors are going to complain. They'll be like, oh, that's another tiger. Is there nothing else but tigers in here? Where are the orangutans? Stuff like that. So, have multiples by having like a tiger habitat here, tiger habitat here, tiger habitat here. Just don't have them next to each other. I think that's about it. Hope I didn't forget anything. Oh yeah, as the game says, higher education rating means that your visitors are going to spend more money, so that is something you want to aim for. General guest happiness is important, but also try to focus on education. That's definitely something you should also keep up just to make money. It's hard to make money in this game, but can make a difference, especially in the beginning. Okay, so we're done. I think we're gonna end this with a lot of rainfall. As always, if you have any questions concerning the game, if there's anything you'd like to see a video on, just leave a comment then. Try to record a video, hopefully useful information as soon as possible. So yeah, I hope you like this, and I hope I'll see you again soon.